What up? What up? What up? It is another edition of the Shark Cove. I'm your host, as always. People call me Emrick. People call me a lot of things. We're just going to go with Emrick. But I am excited, absolutely ecstatic, because we have on the docket a 4-game slate. This is exciting. It's been a long time since we had a 4-game slate. It's not the best 4-game slate, but you know what it's better than? A 2-game slate. You know what is also better than a 2-game slate? My co-host for the evening, you know him making his, 20-something appearance on the Shark Cove. We've got the one, the only, the Moose Man.
What up? It's me again.
What is going on, Moose? You're looking pretty buff over there. Seems like you've been in the gym doing some workouts.
I've been nursing a shoulder injury, so I've been very very ginger, but still getting my workouts in. So, yeah, when you're semi-retired, all you do is work out. There's nothing else to do, guys. So don't lose your jobs. That's pretty much all I can tell you. Just wait for 4-game slates.
Absolutely. So let's see. You're kind of quiet. Let me see if
Let me
that's
turn
just
myself
on
up a little bit.
Yeah, turn yourself up just a little bit. Try it. Test it. Test it. No, can't hear you. You muted yourself. No.
No, I didn't.
There you go. There we go. This is
better?
riveting stuff that we've got here. This is great content. People do not call me daddy. My
They call
wife
me
did one
daddy.
time in her sleep. In her sleep, she said "poppy," but she doesn't. That's not a normal thing. But just one time. All right. So look, the rumors are there's been a lot of chatter. It's not a rumor. It's factual. There's been some chatter in some discords talking about you never give your plays. You just play in mystical contests. You don't tell your plays. Nathan said he's never talked to you on a pod. I think that these are all lies.
They didn't talk
Absolute
to me on a pod.
lies. I know, and you give your plays. But we need to give the people what they want. If you
We're gonna
haven't
give
been
them
giving them
plays.
your plays, we need you to be a little bit more specific with your plays today. We're going to hold your feet to the fire. This is going to be kind of like, the way that Moose is going to shepherd all of his goats, and we are your goats, and we are going to shepherd into, the green areas of the contests. So, without further ado, when I think of people not like you that are fraudulent touts that give the wrong takes, it's more none other than Mr. Will P. Thanks for watching, Will. Given bad takes left and right, saboteur of the games. Let's, in honor of Will, get right into one of my favorite games for reasons not DFS related. Let's get into the very first game. We've got the Kwangdong Teddies playing the Hanwha Life Sam D's. Kwangdong is a huge favorite. And if you remember last year, Moose, Kwangdong was a fantastic team when they were a favorite, because when they were a favorite, they were playing one of the 4 worst teams in the league. When they were a dog, they were playing some of the best teams in the league, and they were not very good. HLE had that one magical game at the start of the split. Sam D playing Jin, killing everybody. But they're plus 305 here. That's a big number. It's an attractive number, thinking that Kwangdong's not that good. Man, where you at on this? What are we thinking? How you feeling? What do we got?
I really like Guangdong, but at those prices, I can't take that. I can't take the -1.5. I think the Hanwha Life to win a game is attractive, and whatever the under is definitely attractive because, from what we saw last year, Guangdong just played really slow, and in this case, with the meta that we're playing, I think HLE and gained that little underdog advantage where if you let them into the mid game with decent comps, I think they could actually probably take a map. I don't know what the over under is, but it must be low as hell. It looks like
Yeah,
22.5.
Yeah, it's about 22 because the 22 and a half is minus 105. The 23 and a half is kind of closer to what they price if they were just giving you an individual line. So I think that they really got it at 22 here, not offering that number, obviously, but that's what they're kind of thinking and implying by these odds, which I think kind of falls in line with what I would expect, given that a lot of these LPL games have been around the 24 mark. That seems to have been the sweet spot where numbers are going under or over. The thing is, like, they either go way over or they go way under, but like that 24 is kind of that number. I don't know, that they kind of average out to. So, one of the things that I think is kind of attractive from a betting standpoint on, some of these LCK games is we just don't know how bad this could be, or if it can be bad at all. Look, I think LCK is a great play, but it might not be. I mean, you could grab a couple of these numbers, the 21 and a half, the 20 and a half, the 19 and a half. I know Corey's been doing it. I've been doing it. I got slammed this morning on the test ones. Lost like 5 units before 9 o'clock. That's always a really fun day. But I think you can, kind of even ladder this down and just lessen your exposure and just, really take advantage of what could possibly be a really low scoring game. Now, HLE seems to be like a team that you kind of want to attack. So you're feeling pretty good. KDF's going to win this game. Is there anybody in this game that you're looking to attack? We haven't looked at prices, but off the top of your head, one off Teddy? Are we one off in Teddy? Is that what's happening?
I'm just playing straight KDF and cash. I think they win this match. If somebody's not sure about where I stand on KDF, they win this match. But yeah, definitely Teddy and Elam are probably my two favorites, and I also like the fact that it's the first game, so like we're gonna get actual information on who's playing what. And today with the way DFS is set up, is you're not going to be able to get anything for big favorites without stacking like a lot of LCK or a lot of jungles. But I feel a lot more comfortable stacking 4 LCK now in cash with everything that's been going on with the unders.
Okay. We've got some questions for you, Moose. From Will. Moose, can you confirm if it was you that carved "a friend with weed is a friend indeed" on the Palisades bluffs? I feel like Will's asked you this question many a times.
He did. He has. So no, I'm not the one that carved that at the bluffs, but I did carve something else at the bluffs. So
okay.
I carved up.
Bell says that you're going to have a prison bod. Alan wants you to stay healthy. Nathan's got a question for you. What's worse, Thunder Talk or the crypto market?
No question about it. The crypto market is worse.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. KDF going to be playing 60-minute games. Yeah, man. I'll tell you, when I looked at the LPL average game time is around 30 minutes, which was like 33, 34 last year. Some teams were a little bit less than that. But so I had a hard time kind of projecting this out, and this game specifically, actually both of these LCK games were not fun to try and figure out. So we'll see how good I am. We'll see if I was on point, and if not, it's just variance, right? So KDF plays slow. Like I mean,
yeah.
So the big thing with the way KDF played last year wasn't necessarily even slow, but it was a very funnel-oriented strategy into Teddy. And if the fights weren't there, they weren't going to force it. But if the fights were there and the other team wanted to initiate and really, put it on them, they would give it right back. At least when they were bad teams doing that. When it was good teams, they kind of rolled over and just got beat. So yeah, I think that this game, you're going to bet some unders. I think some of these map spreads might be I'm probably not going to bet map spreads. It's not me. That's Gelati's thing. You just got to find somebody that loves you the way Gelati loves map spreads. But that's just not me. Or kill spreads.
He loves map spreads, yeah.
He loves the kill spreads. He does. He attacks them. He loves them.
Yeah.
Let's go into the other game in the LCK. We've got Nongshim Red Force, and I think that this game is actually a lot more interesting, and for a couple reasons, and I'm going to lay it out. And I always have a problem finding my mouse, but I did. There it is. So Nongshim comes in as a plus 125 dog, DRX minus 170. We saw DRX show some real signs of life last year. They looked really good, but at no point did I ever say, like, I want to play DRX in a lineup. Like, I just didn't ever want to do that. My name's not Baby Goat. I'm not Elliot. I wasn't just running DRX every single day. Chovy has come out, or no, it was Donby that actually came out and said DRX looks like one of the best teams in the LCK in scrims. Take that for what it's worth. He called them invincible at times. Now they are dealing with another bout of COVID. I don't know if that's going to have any type of lingering effects with the way that they need to be situated. I'm not sure. I'm really more interested in whether or not this team is going to really take a turtle's pace, whether they're going to be able to put up more than 12 to 14 kills in a win. But on top of that, Nongshim was a team that I think just tragically underperformed. When you look at up and down on this roster and the names that are on it, it's just hard for me to believe that they were as bad as they were. But I think of all the teams, they were one of the most disjointed in terms of the way that COVID attacked them. I felt like COVID just grabbed one of them and would pull them out, and then before that guy could get it back, they would pull one more, and then that guy would come back and it would pull another one. And there was just no continuity to this team. I have to, wonder whether or not this summer off or spring off, whatever, between spring and summer, they had some time off. Call it what you want. Whether this team can put together some continuity and be the team that they want to be. I know Gelati loves them. He's drafting them like crazy in the LPL LCK combo drafts. Nobody else is touching them. Moose, what's your take on the Nongshims?
I feel like Nongshim are probably the biggest letdown team of the LCK last year, right? And they just continue to let us down, even though they have really talented players. I just don't know if Ghost is good, and I don't know who their support is tonight, or if it even matters. But I do know that they have Kana, and Kana is going to be probably the main way they win their games is through Kana and through the top lane jungle and if Zika ever does anything. But I think overall the same kind of perspective that you said about Nongshim can kind of be taken with DRX. I don't know exactly what the COVID issues are. That's my first time hearing about it. What's going on?
A couple of them have COVID.
So who's out?
They're all playing. They're playing remotely, so it's not going to affect who's playing. But
okay.
I can imagine, if you can't, you don't have your senses, you're senseless.
As long as they can push the mouse. I feel like DRX has probably had a lot of time to scrim with their.
But Moose, let me paint a picture for you. Just because you said that.
Me.
You want to push the mouse. Let's say you're right there. You're positioning around the Baron or a dragon, an objective, and look, it's Piosik, right? And he goes in to steal this Baron, but he coughs at that moment and he flicks his wrist. Could be a problem, man. It could be a problem.
It could very well be a problem, and I think that. I mean, let's not get it wrong. Like Nongshim are going to perform better than they performed last year. There's no way that they're going to finish with 3 wins. All right, but so far, do you know how many map wins Nongshim have on DRX this year?
No, I don't. Tell me.
It's 0. They haven't won a map against them. So
how many maps has DRX won in summer?
0.
Oh, okay. All right. So they have that in common.
So I think that. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a wait and see approach with this team, but I feel like this is going to be a hot targeted game, and the plus.
You think? You think this game's going to be a hot targeted game?
Yeah, I think so. You don't? I mean, when you look at the pricing, I'm talking about from a DFS standpoint. I think a lot of people are going to be on either DRX or Nongshim, hoping for either the upset or just the easy favorite.
I don't know, man. People don't like playing Nongshim.
I mean, look at all the other pricing. You can't get LNG or V5 in your lineups unless you're taking one of these 2 teams, and if you're not, then you're Moose the Cashor, and you're playing like KDF in your lineups and stuff.
It's true. What if you drink a half day 3-year-old coffee by mistake and you didn't realize it because you have no sense of taste? I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Nongshim, more like Nongshim. I like that. I feel like where do you put ownership here? Because Nongshim are probably going to be the most owned favorites, or the most owned dogs. No,
I don't know. I wouldn't think so. But let's take a look and let's go over to the LPL. We've got anyone's legend, everybody's legend. We've got Betty, we've got Forge, we've got ZDZ. I know it's like
Z,
ZS or something
DZ,
like that. I like it, whatever.
DZ.
And then we've got LNG, who did not look impressive. I mean, like ever. They've never really looked impressive. Not even in spring. There was a time where we thought they were the best team in the LPL, but they just never really ascended to that next level. They're a good team at times, but they just aren't a team that will go out there and be exciting. I think this is a great series to bet some unders. I think anyone's legend at +1.5 to pick up a game even. I think I'm going to bet that. Tell me I'm wrong here. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's not the right play.
I think I like anyone's legend to take a game, but right now in an LPL, I like any of the dogs to take a game. So far, it's been going pretty well for me in terms of taking +1.5, since that was the beginning thing that we talked about. We didn't talk about Invictus FPX but that was just a WTF moment. But yeah, I like. I don't know. I don't know about the under here, but I definitely will be taking the +1.5 here, and hoping my boy Zhao Hao does work.
So, quick note on the under. One of the things that I guess I would point out is that the unders last week were just absolute smash fest, Prince fest. Look, you just couldn't have found a better spot. It was so easy to see, and it's been so exploitable. And I'm talking across all leagues. We have seen a shift. Now, granted, it's Tuesday, so we've only got 10 ERL games a day, so we've seen 20 games. And I have seen some of the leagues kind of uptick. There are still these really low-scoring games, but we have seen some of the kill totals creep up into the higher 20s, where they were in the low 20s and even in the teens when this started. So, I think that the important thing to try and, put your finger on, whether it's going to be here, whether it's going to be tomorrow, whether it's going to be there or the day after, is you're going to want to be ahead of these books on the shift, because I think that there is going to be a shift back. I think that this 24 number, 24.5 is a good number right now, but I think 26.5 is probably where it ends up by the end of the split, maybe even higher than that. And just getting ahead of that and trying to get some of these overs and just riding these totals is going to be something that's advantageous for the gambler, for the bettor, for the wagerer. TT, new look TT, no new TT. And then we've got Victory 5. It's nothing but a dream. No rookies playing on the team. Not today. Where are we going? +350, -550. TT to take a game, +105. How disappointing would it be if we started this game and just akin to typical TT fashion, they come out and they get this huge lead. Up 15 minutes, they're up 2-0. They're just killing it. And then just something happens and they just throw it. They just throw it away. Two reasons I think that can happen. It happens with every iteration of TT. It doesn't matter who's on the team or who isn't on the team or who they replaced. It happens every time. Victory 5 has shown, even when they were playing at the peak of their powers with rookie, that they were susceptible to being overcome early. They play a lot of chancy ball. They take a lot of risks. They get a lot of rewards, but they get punished sometimes. IG punished them, and then they punished IG 2 games in a row. +105 and the +1.5. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like this game probably ends up in the DFS winners tab, because there's just so much possibility for this game to explode and to actually produce some decent fantasy value. Not only that, but I do think that Zhao Zhang is a better top laner than Rich. Just so if they perform, and the Beichuan kid's not bad. The mid lane's a wash right now. This is probably TT's best chance.
Bro, I thought you were going to say new. I thought you were going to say he's better than new, and I was going to be like, yeah.
No, I think he's better than Rich, dog. He's good, man. He's a good player.
Wow.
My only problem is that TT's bot lane is gonna be tough to watch. It's gonna be tough to watch their bot lane.
I don't know. I thought that their bot lane was, a strong point for them. I mean, in context, everything that they had last year. Not that there was a lot of strength.
There was anything strong about
even when they got an advantage. Like Puff would get a kill early and get the first blood. They'd go up 1-2 or 2-0 or not 1-2 but 2-1 or 2-0, and then they would just kind of fall apart from there. I thought their early laning was something that they did very well. One of the things that I'm going to look at, and we're not going to do it on the show, but I would advise everybody kind of look at, is how some of these ADCs play to get an idea. When we looked at Assume, or when I looked at Assume yesterday, I saw that Kalista was a champion that he played quite a bit, and he played 2 games of Kalista. You can kind of understand how the rest of that kind of team comp is going to be put together around a Kalista. And, just think about how that works for your fantasy teams, whether it's be your top laner, your jungler, your mid laner, or your support. So take it from there. You're probably not playing an enchanter with Kallistas. One of the things that I would say. Somebody can tell me I'm wrong, but I don't care. Let's take a look at these teams. Let's take a look at the projections. Let's look at this sheet here. So we assume that these LCK teams are going to be pretty similar to what they were. Why do I have Hoyt on here too? Oh my gosh.
Oh no, he's got Hoyt on there. What's the matter? What's wrong with Hoyt?
Hoyt's fine.
Oh no, he wasted it twice. Oh no.
There we go. That's why. Okay, now I understand why it happened. I had a problem with the CSV, and now it makes total sense. DRX wasn't on there. Makes sense. But yeah, so just looking at these, the V5 TT, both of those teams look like they score well. I actually do have Nongshim because, look, when I came down to it and I was looking at how some of these positions are playing on this new patch, granted, we have a really limited scope. One of the big things that I saw was the kill share for ADCs has gone way down. A lot of that has gone over to the top laners, and they've increased their kill participation. It's no surprise. We've seen Kale, we've seen Vlad, we've seen a lot of GP. These 3 top laners are guys that you want your top laner to draft. People that you don't want your top laner to draft, like Sion, Ornn, Gragas, Aatrox to an extent. Certainly not the same type of carry potential as those other ones. So along with looking at what some of these ADCs have played throughout their career, looking at what some of these top laners have played throughout their career would be good. Unless, your top laner is 369 and he's, proficient in Vlad, but they just don't let him play it. So fuck me. Let's take a look at how this all works out.
It's a nice over under. Was that 25.5 on that? On that TTV5?
Yeah, it is. I mean, even the 24.5, you're getting plus odds, so you're just getting way better odds right there than you are with the other ones. But I think that makes a ton of sense. TV top side is underrated. Yeah, look, Moose thinks he's the best top laner in the LPL. Apparently,
he's a good player. I thought he was on EDG still last week, so take that for what it is.
Betty is sneaky, yeah, for sure. Had to really adjust down his projection. First time he didn't project for like 1 million points. So let's take a look at these. When I'm looking at these projections, I've got kind of right up there. So no surprise that when I told you that I thought Nongshim was a good play. I could be way off on this. I heavily adjusted, and there's a lot of manual numbers. There's a lot of bias in these projections. I don't know. Look who's at the top, man. We've got 2 LCK top laners.
Both good. Both play well.
You know what we also have? We have 2 LCK top laners at the bottom. So that whole range of outcomes is there. And yes, the TT top laner is not included in Fantasy Labs, despite all of my attempts.
What's his price at? Probably low, right? He's like bottom. 40 something, 4,600.
Yeah, it's probably not relevant. We're not going to run him in any optos. From a jungle perspective, we've got Karsa. Now look, I thought Karsa, to me, I bumped up his projection. I think with rookie out, I kind of gave him a little bit of an additional kill share. I think he's going to try a little bit harder. I think we're going to get him on some carry champions. I don't think that this game is going to be put into Dream's hands. I think Karsa's the guy for them. So I think if they win, Karsa is going to be somebody that you can really even put into a captain slot. Then we've got guys like Dredd, who just had an absolutely bonkers and bananas kill share last year. Really adjusted him down, but he's still a lot higher than some of these other guys. I don't know, man. I'm really, 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 really bearish on DRX, as you can see by the projections.
Yeah, it doesn't look like you think they do anything today. Only the books disagree with you.
I don't know about that. When we get to the mid laners, so this is kind of a different one thing to look at here. I got Doingby a little bit higher in a 2-1. In a 2-0, or actually, is this flipped around?
No, you do
No,
have
no, in
Doingby
a
higher in a
2-0,
2-1.
yeah, 2-0, for some reason, he doesn't have the same type. His numbers are just kind of weird in losses last year. Really carried the team. And so that's kind of why his number is kind of off in comparison to a lot of other people, where
We
you
saw
see the
that with
2-0,
Knight.
that they have a higher little score. What's that?
We saw the same thing with Knight. Knight projects better in 2-1.
Yeah, not as much last spring, but prior to that, absolutely. So, but UCal up here, we've got Dream. So this was the one spot where, Nongshim BDD, not a huge difference, but not scoring very well there. For me, Zika still bottom of the barrel, just really, really bearish on this DRX team. When it comes to ADC, Fodic, Puff, my boy, and for some reason, Sam D and Teddy are there. Now, look, I think that they're not going to funnel necessarily the same way to Teddy, but look, he could end up playing Jinx, and if he ends up playing Jinx, she's not that nerfed, man. Like, I think she's still a completely viable ADC, even though everybody's playing Ezreal. Iwandi looking good, PP God looking good. So let's run a couple of these. Let's see what we got.
Teddy can play Ezreal. Teddy's a good Ezreal player.
Teddy's good everything, man. So you're telling me I can't play favorites. That's what you're telling me.
No, you can't play those. You can't play those.
We got a support captain.
You can play those.
Jungle captain.
That's a lot of DRX.
It's a lot of DRX. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of shit, son. There's a top captain.
Yeah, man. I've been told that this is an Ollie meta. We didn't see it the last time, but it feels like it should be. I don't
Well, he was
hate
going
this
up against the
462.
GP half the time, so it's like kind of hard for Ali to play.
462. If we run them with V5. Top captain.
No.
I think so. You're like with Afrikas, you can get basically top captains with favorites, and then if you run it with DRX, man, there it is.
Yeah, double LCK for the money. That would be terrible. There's no exposure to LNG or V5, dude. This is it. This is the takedown stack. Yeah, that's gonna be an easy clap. I'm surprised that that's what it brings up. Probably because you have a BDD projection of 80, and I don't remember the last time you scored 80.
I don't know. I think Nathan does.
It's probably on Gen G last time you scored 80.
So, no. It was like the one time that like Nathan played Nongshim and then won like 30K, just cleared up all the contests, got the ceiling game out of Nongshim. So I'm saying that he remembers it. And I don't like the only problem here is we don't know if Peter's going to play, so you'd have to kind of see how this works with effort. But I think that there's more than enough money there to fill that out.
I don't like BDD captain. I'm gonna need to change on that.
You go 4v5 here. You don't think that? So you think that this will be a pretty popular lineup?
Oh
actually,
yeah, for sure. Either we get Photic in there somehow, and you're set.
he's in there.
No, I mean on captain.
Well, you got a dream captain.
All I dream.
So
is captain.
look, the reason I'll tell you the reason that it's doing this with Nongshim is just how uninvolved Ghost was last year. Ghost was just non-existent on the team
until Nathan won with him.
They were all non-existent, but Ghost was extra non-existent. That's the whole thing. I don't know, man. How do you not play double LPL, right? Like with a dog, this is kind of it. You got the Fodder. You can go Victory 5 here. Maybe even put PP God. This feels like a lineup. You can't do PP God as a matter of fact unless Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, they didn't have the team slot. So great. Good job, Labs. This is why we pay you.
I don't pay them. I pay Fantasy Cruncher. Does Fantasy Lab sponsor the show?
Look, man, I'm waiting for Will to give me a Saber Sim, membership, so I can put it on here. I can show how great it works, and it's just free advertising. That's all it is. So, Will, hook me up. I'll bring you on the show again. So, I mean, I don't know. Look, I think Nongshim is a nice piece. I think that they're going to do well. You think that they're going to be popular?
Yeah, they're going to be popular. I mean, they're the closest dog to they're the most live dog. How are they not going to be popular compared to TT or anyone's legend?
I mean, look, you don't need to you don't need to say anything. Just say, hey, this guy needs this for the show. We're going to give it to him. Let's do it. They're easily a popular spot. Nathan, are you going to have no Nongshim? Because if it's the chalk dog that you're fading, load up on it, man. Nathan runs bad. And when he doesn't want that chalk dog is going to bark. I don't know, Moose. We've run through the slate. We've talked about it. Who are you playing?
I love KDF. I think KDF clean house. Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I feel like obviously the Nongshim DRX game, you're actually making me think that DRX is gonna be less owned now. If people are just gonna be slamming V5 or LNG with Nongshim and just to fit the stack that they want, makes me feel like DRX might be kind of a bit of a leverage play in that case, because given that people will probably not be able to pair them with V5 or LNG as much as we think. And then I don't know. I could easily see either of the LPL games going to 3 games. So I'll be taking anyone's legend and TT plus 1.5. HLE plus 1.5. I need to think about, but the LPL one's definitely plus 1.5.
Yeah, so look, it's a really interesting kind of thought process because, as you're aware and everybody watching knows that we really talk mainly less about the $15, less about the 5, less about the 10. I know some of you that watch, that's all you play. We talk about how that ownership is going to be affected in the 333, the dynamic of that particular contest. Now that it's been neutered to a quarter of its size, people are stuck with a single entry on a 4-game slate. Man, this feels very weird. Normally when we see something like this, it's on an LCS or an LEC slate, but those are coming up. I'm excited about those. We'll be back tomorrow. Moose's play is Slam Nongshim, V5 and TT. That's what it is. It's all right. One thing I will say, my parting words, and I'm not telling you who I'm playing. I'm not doing it. But LNG was optimal every slate last year when they won, right? Somehow, some way.
Were they optimal? Were they optimal?
It seemed like they were optimal every single time. They're not the flashiest team. They weren't the highest scoring, but somehow they snuck their way onto these garbage slates where nobody did anything. And that's kind of the meta that we're in right now. Looking ahead tomorrow after this, we do have a little bit more of an exciting kind of slate. We've got Rare Adam, who looked like trash, against OMG, who looked like trash. We've got Ultra Prime. Zoom looked like the best player in the world. And we've got BLG, who, Doggo took over a game. That's an exciting 2 games from the LPL. The LCK brings us KT and Genji. That should be a banger. And then we've got Fredit Brion and Damwon, the one team that has the key to defeat Damwon at least once every split. So it could be it. It could be a bro day. Who knows? That's all I got. Any last questions? No. We'll see you later.